Is it possible that Cobra Kai Season 3 got pushed back to this summer of 2020? Stay tuned to find out. So you think you know Cobra Kai? Guess what? You found the right place, because we're going to talk about Cobra Kai, we're going to dissect it, we're going to talk about all the characters. You came to the right place. Guess what? Exclusive videos just for you, just for Cobra Kai. Live streams that you're personally invited to. Check it out, man. So what are you waiting for? Hey, what's up guys? David from Team Rubalcava Network. Cobra Kai video. Can you believe this? I have not put out a Cobra Kai video in so long, but something was starting to kind of red flag for me. So I thought I would go ahead and share this with you guys. And you can already throw the hate mail at me right at the beginning, but I want you guys to just I want you guys to take your fan hat off just for a few moments, you guys, just for a few moments, and listen to what I've kind of discovered. Some of it's through observation, or most of it's through observation, but I do think that there's a huge possibility that Cobra Kai Season 3 will get pushed back into the summer of 2020, and you know, I'm gonna explain that to you guys. But before I get too far in, first of all, I want to tell you guys thank you for following our channel. I appreciate it. If you enjoy our content, make sure to subscribe. I have been on kind of a hiatus because I've been working on some film projects and some short films and some documentaries and things, and that is why I have some insight to what is happening. But before I get too deep, as usual, because I'll go off on some tangent, I want to give a big shout out to a couple of people that have been working really hard at getting you guys Cobra Kai Season 3 info and just kind of keeping the train moving right now, as I took a hiatus because I was just focused on other stuff. So before I get too far off the rail, guys, I want to give a shout out to a couple of people that have just been really kicking butt, giving you guys some good content, keeping everybody like buzzing about Cobra Kai. It's been like 11 months, guys, 11 months, so to keep talking about Cobra Kai is really challenging, especially because they don't give us a damn thing. They don't give us anything right now. And, you know, I just want to give a shout out to Watch Party, man. I love your channel, bro. I love the narration. Bonsai Kai Dojo, you guys have an amazing community, man. I love to sneak in there and listen to you guys sometimes and just kind of, just to hear what's going on. And hopefully one day I get invited to be in that dojo, man, because I'd love to hang out with you guys. Just throwing it out there. And then Brianna Davidson, man, you had continued to do some awesome things on Twitter, posting your own videos. I saw some of that on social media the other day, and even John Hurwitz, I know, posted some stuff of you that you've done in the past, and it's just awesome to see great content creators that have passion and that just keep the community thriving. And so there is nothing more important than a Cobra Kai community, and I'm glad to be a part of that too. So I'm big fans of your guys' channels and appreciate the love, appreciate the support. And then with that, man, let's just jump right in. So I want you guys to really think about some things, man. I want you to think about some things that have been happening, and you know, it's outright discouraging. I know you feel the same way, and I made a choice, man. I'm not putting out anything until I hear something, because then it's just pure speculation. But today I woke up, man. Today I woke up inspired by some things that were happening and some things that I saw, and just kind of putting some things together, and like, it's like playing connect the dots, right? Eventually something clicks and just poof, holy moly, I think something's happening. And that's what this episode's about. So let's just talk about the stuff that we do know for a fact right now before we get into some speculation and some things that I kind of put together. But we originally knew that the trailer was supposed to be released in the spring, right? We saw that on a lot of networks. We saw that on multiple channels. We saw that on social media. We just kind of know that generically it's the spring. So what the hell does that mean to begin with? So we know spring starts in March, like the middle of March, and continues all the way to June, right? June, that's spring. So it's kind of a huge window for us to kind of figure it out, but that's the kind of blueprint. And we know from past seasons, you know, first season one was in May, then April, season 2. So we kind of have a target to at least shoot at, right? We kind of have an idea of where we're going when it could possibly drop. But let me ask you this, or let me actually have you think about something. Is probably a better way to put it. Everything that gets released in media, guys, everything from television to film to Cobra Kai, the release date has significance, guys. And I want to plant that seed in there so we could think about that a little bit later. But everything has a specific release date for a specific reason, based on events that are happening prior to what is happening right now. And I gotta tread water real carefully, because I can't really say the COVID 19, you know, because then I can't monetize this video. So, but I want you to think about that. That has been a factor in what's happening right now. We're gonna get into that a little bit soon, but I just want you to think about, in the grand scheme of things, guys, there is a purpose as to when they release things. There is a purpose to the madness. And what's been frustrating for us is we don't understand the logic of what's happening, right? We only understand is we want Cobra Kai. We want Cobra Kai. And it's not being given to us. This episode is designed to maybe explain as to why, what's happening, and the reason why, and the logic behind why I think this is coming late summer. Okay, so let me talk about another thing we know. So we know that, you know, Okinawa is going to be a part of it. We've seen certain flashes about it. I'm not even going to talk about that. These are certain things that we know for a fact. And one of the biggest things that we know for a fact is this damn team knows how to keep a secret, man. I mean, they have kept a tight lid on everything, almost everything, guys. And I want you guys to think about some stuff as we read between the lines, because what they haven't given us is proof, is a trailer, is this, you know, image or whatever. They haven't given us that, but what they have given is some important information coming from John himself. And Ralph Macchio posted something. Now, I want to give you some insight before we dig too deep, guys. Is that the reason why I took a hiatus is because I got into the film industry. I've been involved with doing commercials. I got involved with some short films, shooting my own documentaries, right? So I'm kind of in this bubble. And what I learned in this bubble is things have shut down. And we want to say it's for the virus. And I'll put it on the screen, right? We know that the industry has completely shut down, guys. So what does that mean? So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into it. Okay, so let me ask you something, guys. When you look at the situation of today, you look at the climate today as a fan, wouldn't this be the perfect time, right? I see it on social media. It's like we are all at home. We are all losing our shit at home right now because there's just nothing to do. We're in absolute confinement. We're in quarantines, all this other stuff, right? I might have to edit that one out in case I get blocked. But can't say the Q word either because stuff happens to videos. Trust me, it's happened to me. So we know that this, from a fan point, is like, man, why are you not giving this to us? Why are you not releasing it? Well, I want to shed some light on some of this stuff, guys. I really want to shed some light. So let's start with the most obvious one that nobody's talking about right now. Why wouldn't they release it right now? Why wouldn't they release it? Could it be monetary? Seems like a good plan to me, guys. Okay, look, guys. I want to do some comparisons really quick. So think about what's happening right now. Think about all of the non-essential businesses that have shut down, including the film industry. Non-essential, right? It's mostly food, tires, cars, things like that, repairs. Those have all become the necessity. What about all the stuff that hasn't been deemed necessary? What about companies that were advertising things that were non-essential? Where does that revenue go? So we all know that YouTube, guys, is a revenue-based, ad-based company. That is what they do. They bring in advertisers to market. That has been the strategy. That has what has generated so much revenue. What if, just what if, the revenue stream is starting to slow down? What if some of these companies that can't do business in person anymore, like really can't, I don't even know if you can go out and buy a car, like really interact with people. I don't think those things are possible. But what were some of the biggest advertisers that you would see? And it took me a minute to kind of think about this. I'm like, okay, if we're talking about advertising, what was I seeing on my channel? What was I seeing on other people's channel? The biggest one, movie trailers. I saw a ton of movie trailers a month ago. Guess how many movie trailers I'm seeing now? Virtually none. Like, I haven't really seen any, and we know why, right? You can't go to the movie theater, you can't go out, you can't watch things. We all know that, right? That is happening. What about, I used to see real estate, I used to see a lot of brick and mortar type companies, the car industry come out and buy a car. Like, all these kind of major industries have come to a screeching halt. So what does that do to YouTube? So you might be asking yourself, well, YouTube generates revenue, YouTube generates a lot of revenue from premium. Nah, dog, they don't. They don't. Nothing compared to Netflix. So I'm going to show you guys something really quick. And as I was doing some research, I thought about it. I'm like, well, how come Netflix isn't being affected, right? Netflix is just crushing it. They're growing. Content is just like, it's like a bombshell, stuff happening. You're just like, whoa, Netflix, awesome job, guys. You guys crushed it. But why? What's the difference between YouTube and, let's say, Netflix or other providers that have subscriptions? Well, let me read it. This is what I found. Netflix business segment. So this was actually, I found this about the company. Netflix does not sell ad space on their site, nor does it sell its user data. Essentially, the only source of revenue for the company is its subscription. The only source is their subscription. So this is what's generating this $1 billion. Now let's talk about YouTube. YouTube is a free service, right? Except for premium content. Now let me ask you this, because most of you guys have Netflix. When you log on to Netflix, you see all these movies, all this stuff, all this old stuff, whatever, archive stuff. What about YouTube Premium? How many things do you really see on YouTube Premium? So the answer is very few. Now, what does that mean for Cobra Kai? It just kind of, it just means that right now it kind of has slowed down some of their revenue streams. Now, like I said before, every launch has a strategy. Every launch has a purpose, right? So what happens if, from a marketing standpoint, you cannot drive business outside of your own company, like YouTube? What if you can only drive it online? How can you market this program with interaction with people? How can you get other people to want to advertise on a channel, right, or a series, if they're not making money? It takes millions of dollars to advertise, guys. So I want you guys to start thinking about this. This might have been something that kind of slowed it down, but I want to share something, and I'm not making this crap up. Look, really simple, guys. For those of you that know Lady Gaga just recently said, I'm not releasing my album. And you're like, why? Like, it's done, it's whatever. Think about this, and this is what I said. I want you to take that fan hat off and really use some thought process behind this. Why would that happen? Most people outside the industry would never understand. They say she's being selfish or whatever. Look, how does that album generate revenue? What events could help generate revenue because of that album? Concerts, tours. Can any of that stuff happen right now? No. So it makes no financial sense to the people that are involved that generate revenue. To the consumer, they pay their $19, $20, whatever, they get the immediate return. But what about driving traffic around that piece, around that album? It does not stop. Revenue does not stop just because the album's released. There has to be other driving forces. I think some of that is actually happening to Cobra Kai Season 3. Is some of these forces that we don't think about are starting to be impacted by this situation, right? The situation that's happening to the entire world right now have probably started to disrupt it, okay? So let's just take it, that's kind of on a macro scale. Now let's drop it down a little bit smaller. If we know that revenue's declining, right? We know that that's a problem right now. what other aspects could be affecting production? Now, I want you guys to think about something. You know, Ralph Macchio actually posted something where he just finished up his ADR session. And for those of you that don't know, that's like when they go into the studio, they talk about, having to like redo the audio portion. This is something that I'm familiar with. Like sometimes I do it on my own stuff. Sometimes I do it on different projects. You go in and re-record things that maybe weren't as clean. Now let's think about that. He just posted this recently, right? That he finished his. What if not everybody was done doing that? Now I have seen some characters, you guys have seen some characters on Instagram that have posted the same thing. Finished my ADR session, right? What if not everybody was done? What if that happened? How much longer would that slow down the process? Now Ralph Macchio also posted something that was very interesting, which kind of follows the same line of that. Is he posted a picture of the studio, right? He was on Sony Studio, boom, completely empty. What does that mean? These are all those hidden gems I'm telling you. It's not about what people are saying. It's about what we're seeing by some of these people that are posting, especially the actors. And even John posted, I think, the same picture. What does that mean? It means that industry, guys, had slowed down, that you could only have so many people on set. Now, being on the insider right now, I know that film production has stopped. And I even saw it on the news that they were ridiculing some companies that were still filming when they should have been shut down. And they're probably going to get fined for it. So what does that mean? It means everything has to be done remotely. Now, right now, the reason why I'm recording here instead of my usual area in the dining room is because my wife's home right now. My wife is home right now, and that became her office, right? Her virtual office is right there, and that's where she's been working. So let me tell you something that I've been learning about her working home remotely is there is continuous issues, guys, with the internet. We have never seen this before in the entire world. So many people at home, so many people using bandwidth. I even saw this article, I couldn't find it, about the government asking them to lower their bandwidth because there's too many people. Now let's take that in the context of the editors and marketing, right? So being on the inside, like these are things that I've seen, man. If you've ever had to work remotely, which I have, things slow down, guys. It takes time to interact with people. It takes time to send things, get them back. Now, editing can be done remotely. That is a done deal, and it's happening right now. But the process might have been slowed down. And I think that's what's happening. When you have a network of people trying to coordinate something so big as this, and edit and send and double check it. I don't like the color, send it back. They got to do it. It's much different than working in a facility where all the people are close to each other and working with each other and talking with each other. It's just a different environment. And just witnessing it firsthand, seeing how slow it's happening to my wife. My wife works for UCLA. UCLA, one of the biggest, hospitals, biggest, companies, and they are struggling with internet issues, guys. So it has to be happening elsewhere. So what else does that mean, right? What else does it mean? So here's another kind of gem that I saw from John Horowitz. He kind of mentioned it, so I'll bring this up. It says, as we are awaiting marketing materials for Cobra Kai Season 3, some of our amazing fans have taken it upon themselves to make their own. Bing, 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 bing. Marketing, guys. Marketing is huge, and trust me, man, I was doing this commercial that we did. I saw how the whole marketing thing works. It is huge. It is much bigger than a handful of people saying, okay, I want this edited, I don't like that. It is a machine. So what if this part of the process is actually slowing down in coordination with like the editing? These are two major components that are being slowed down, and John said he's waiting. Waiting, that's the key word. We're waiting. How could we be waiting after all of this time? Clearly, there has been a disruption to the natural environment of what's going on. So, logic, using some logic, guys, I'm saying right now that I think these pieces have all created a situation where things have slowed down dramatically. And if I had to give a guess, guys, when things will probably, I don't want to say go back into normal, because I don't even know what normal is anymore, but I'm just saying as things kind of speed back up and ramp back up, it's probably going to be a few months. So it's safe to say that it would probably push back until probably this summer, right? Nobody is going to start this industry with things still lingering with this issue of things that are happening, right? This situation that we're all dealing with. Nobody's going to take that chance. And I think those things have just kind of slowed the process down. Now, I still think they're going to release it, but it doesn't make sense right now if they are not generating revenue, if they can't get people that want to spend. These big companies spend money because they're losing money every day. It doesn't make sense to release it. It just doesn't. From a fan point, we're like, yeah, send it, doesn't matter, just send it. That's our right to see this. That's not how it works, bro. It doesn't. This is a financial decision that I think will take some time, that's been delayed until things start to kind of get back on track. And so I truly believe that it'll be this summer that we'll see Cobra Kai Season 3. We might start seeing the trailer soon, guys. Maybe in the next month or so. Who knows? But until then, I think we have to start accepting what's happening. The reality of what's happening in the world is starting to affect the reality of what's happening on YouTube and to some of our beloved characters that we're waiting. Those real world things are affecting post-production and marketing right now. So if you guys like this video, I appreciate it. Hit that like, share it out. I know I'm probably the bad guy today, but I just want you guys to really think. I don't think that the company is doing this or YouTube is doing this to piss people off. I think right now they have to make some hard choices, and this is probably one of them that they're having to make. So stay tuned, you guys, for more Cobra Kai, and I appreciate it, man. I'm glad to be back, at least for this video, and hopefully I'll have some more insight coming up. So stay tuned, you guys. I appreciate it. I'm out.